Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Charlestown Races here on Friday. It is the 25th of August, 2023. Gonna look at the featured 11th race from Charlestown, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean around the world. The 11th race, it's the big one, the meat feature. It's the Charlestown Classic. It's a Grade 2 event going for $1 million purse race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 11 horses entered. The 11 horses in AE, 10 could go, 1,800 meters, or the mile and eighth trip on the main track. Gonna take the 5-horse Skippy Longstocking as a top selection. Let's go 5-2, 10-8 in the superfecta. 5-2, 10-8 super, top selection of 5-horse Skippy Longstocking. This 4-year-old colt by Exaggerator. Saffy Joseph Jr. trains. Tyler Gaffleone gets to mount. The horse's most recent appearance on a racetrack came in the Cornhusker Handicap at Prairie Meadows, a mile and eighth, 8th of July. First off, the 10-week refreshing. He finished second by 3/4 length that day. The winner, Giant Game, ran a giant race on the front end and, kind of was decreasing margin victory late, but this horse was gaining that day. Off the bench, I didn't think it was a half bad race. Coming here to the bull ring where with a good poster, he could stalk the front runners. I think he'd get a good trip and win here today. With the 3 turns, I think a horse from a tracking trip should really, get up on those tiring horses late. Two back, he ran the Ben Alley at Keeneland, a mile 3:16, 22nd of April, and he finished 5th by 5 lengths that day, and he just kind of stalked and never really showed up. Rat on Roll ran a terrific race. Was a next star winner, by the way, in the Pimlico Special, but this horse just wasn't getting to him there. And then the Challenger at Tampa, a mile 16th, 11th of March, winning by 3 1/4 lengths that day. He was much the best that day. He stalked after not the best beginnings, and then he just took off clear, a little bit wide, but you always want to be a little bit wide at Tampa. That was a very strong run. Watching the Tampa replay actually made me miss Tampa, betting those turf races on like a Wednesday afternoon in the middle of January. Some of my favorite wagers, those turf races. But that's for another day. That's for January. But prior to the Challenger, the horse ran the Pegasus at Goldstream. I believe he was my Pegasus pick. He finished 7 by 9 3/4 lengths, and he just didn't show a lot. He was wide, and just nothing. Just absolutely nothing. On New Year's Eve, he ran terrifically, though, at Goldstream, going a mile 16th in Harlan's Holiday. He won by 2 that day. He was drawn a little bit wide, but he kept going with a career best 106 Spire. That was a very strong run, first-time older horses. Prior to that, in the PA Derby, he didn't show anything, but won the West Virginia quite nicely. West Virginia Derby quite nicely at Mountaineer across the state. Training well at Saratoga, coming here today at 3-1, getting Tyler Gaffleone, who's a very, the last week it seems like he's winning everything. I expect this horse to run a good race. You can't throw out the 2-horse Giant Game for Martin Garcia and Dale Romans. Most recently they were setting their heights a little bit too high in the Whitney. He finished 5th by 11 lengths. He was with the pace. It was just then kind of hit the wall. Prior to that, the Cornhusker at Prairie, coming back with a career best 99 Buyer, the horseman by 3/4 length was decreasing margin victory late, but it was a very good run for this horse there. And then one going a mile 3/16 in the Lounge Race at Churchill in mid-May by a half a length on the front end. I do think the mile and eighth might be just towards the end of his distance scale, but coming here today, if he gets a good trip on the front end, it wouldn't surprise me. But something I've noticed with this race, front runners going wire to wire is kind of hard here with this particular race because with around the 3 turns, around that final turns, the front runners are getting a little bit tired. So you just want a horse just coming off, not a deep closers, but just coming off a little bit of the pace. I think Skippy Longstocking has the jump on him, but Giant Game has run races fast enough to win. A horse that's going to have to jump up a few points would be the 10-horse O'Connor. Ran most recently in the West Virginia Governor's Stakes at Mountaineer, where you need the race off the bench. You don't run half bad, but you need the race. Prior to that, he ran a good second in the Go Zapper at Goldstream. Disappointing in the Pegasus, but had a decent 4th in his in the Harlan's Holiday and in his North America debut, going a mile 16th at Goldstream. He won quite nicely with a 99 Buyer. He could definitely win. I would use him in the pick 4 here in this very wide open feature. I very much love the since they moved this race in the COVID year to the end of August. On the day before Travers, I think it's become a really good race again, and I also love that they brought the race back to an evening card. Because I just always when this race first came out, it was always an evening card, and it was just exciting seeing all these top end riders ride at the it's like 10 o'clock at night, which you're not used to, but hopefully they keep it at the evening card and also the day before Travers, but Friday night. But to recap my selection for the 11th from Charlestown, it's the Charlestown Classic. Gonna take the 5-horse Skippy Longstocking, give kudos to the 2-horse Giant Game and the 10-horse O'Connor. 5-2, 10-8 super, 5-2, 10 in your multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck everybody.